Welcome to primary voting season. Today marks the first regular season primary of the 2026 election cycle, and we see voters in 3 states going to the polls: Arkansas, North Carolina, and the big one in Texas. So if you look at, there's not much in Arkansas, and you see all the incumbents have very little opposition in today's primary. So they'll all be renominated for the general election. In North Carolina, the Senate race will be one of the premier contests of the 2026 general election, but there's not much mystery in today's primary because it's a foregone conclusion that the former governor of the state, Roy Cooper, will win the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate tonight, and as will Michael Whatley, the former Republican National Committee chairman and ex-North Carolina party chairman, will win the Republican side, and then that big general election campaign begins tomorrow. And then we have 2 House races worth looking at. The 1st district, which is redistricted in their new map, which puts that 1st district into very much competition for the Democratic incumbent Don Davis. This seat becomes really heavily Republican now, and we'll see who becomes the GOP nominee. The favorite going into tonight is the 2024 nominee, Lori Buckout, the former Pentagon official. And then we move into the 4th district, the Chapel Hill anchored seat, where the 2-term incumbent Valerie Foushee is again facing Durham County Commissioner Nita Alam. And there's been a lot of outside money coming into this district to help Alam in her efforts against the Congresswoman. That's one to watch tonight in North Carolina, District 4. We'll move to Texas. So we've got a lot of action going on in Texas. Of course, the Senate race has been big news for over a year in terms of the Republican primary, with Senator John Cornyn running for a 5th term. A runoff looks like it's assured tonight, and it'll be very, very likely Senator Cornyn and the Attorney General of the state, Ken Paxton. And then that moves to a May 26th runoff election, and that is going to be a barn burner here from now on. Then we move to the U.S. House races. Texas has 38 seats, and there's primary action in 20 of those 38 seats tonight. So we've got 10 open seats, and most of those, not all, but most, will go to runoff elections tonight. Probably 7 out of the 10 will head to runoff elections in Texas. And then you've got 4 incumbents who are battling for renomination. Heading the list, Congressman Tony Gonzalez, in the middle of a terrible personal scandal. See how well he does tonight, if he survives or if he heads to a runoff election there. And then you've got 3 other incumbents. In the Houston area, you have Congressman Dan Crenshaw. He's being challenged by State Representative Steve Toth from his right. Toth has gotten a lot of strong conservative support, not a great deal of money, or not nearly as much as Crenshaw has, so we'll see how that turns out tonight. Chances are we will have a nominee there, though, tonight. And then you have, of course, Gonzalez, we mentioned, and then also Julie Johnson up in the Dallas area. Her district really was redrawn completely in redistricting, and she now finds herself in a West Dallas County district. And against Colin Allred, the former congressman who ran for the Senate in 2024, looked like he was going to run for the Senate again this year, but at the last minute, when filing came, decided to file in this 33rd district against Julie Johnson. That could be another incumbent casualty. And then, of course, Al Green, the longtime Houston congressman, in the same district with the newly elected Christian Menifee. Remember, he won that January 31st special election, and the polling suggests that Menifee actually will prevail tonight. So we will very, very likely see a nominee there, and most likely perhaps a new nominee in that 18th district of Texas. And then also in the Harris County, Houston area, you have Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia, and she's being challenged by former state representative Jarvis Johnson. So that one, actually, there's a possibility it could go to a runoff in that situation as well. A lot of action in Texas, and we'll be there to cover it all for you.